The president had a moment to share with Ghanaians his social contract that he signed, things that he intended to do within 120 days in office. And rightly so, yesterday he had a moment to update the nation and all of that. Joshua, why are you laughing?
I mean, Mahama is doing well.
I know Jones is there doing his Manchester United stuff, but don't worry. So yesterday, the president did touch about some of the cases that are likely to come to court,
right,
and updates on some of the things that are happening and all of that, but because of time. So let's see what the president had to say about Ahmed Suale specifically and some other cases that he has asked investigators to look into them.
Reopening investigations into major unresolved criminal cases. Delivering justice is crucial for national healing and trust in our institutions. And so we promise to open investigations into major unresolved criminal cases, including the 2020 elections killings, Ayawaso West Wogombai election violence, and the murder of Ahmed Suale and Silas Wolochame. The new Inspector General of Police has established a special task force. Investigations have been reopened and progress is being made. In the tragic murder of Ahmed Hussein Suale 6 years later, the police service have made an arrest and the suspect was arraigned before court and remanded. Investigations are also ongoing into the election 2020 Teshuban South incident where 2 lives were lost. In Odododio, where 2 persons died, 3 individuals have been charged with conspiracy and murder and committed for trial at the High Court. In Ablikuma Central, where a military officer is alleged to have caused a death, the scene has been revisited and a request was made to the Chief of Army Staff for the release of the personnel involved to assist in investigations. For the tragic death of Silas Wolochame in Banda, the Attorney General's office under the previous administration had advised against prosecution due to lack of evidence. But I'm pleased to report that we have reopened the case based on actionable intelligence. In Doma West, where Kofi Robert died, 1 person has been charged and is standing trial, while the other suspect is at large and is being pursued. In Savlugu, where Zakaria Samira, a 16-year-old, died from a gunshot, efforts are still being made to find the assailant despite a lack of cooperation from witnesses. And concerning the January 31st, 2019 Ayawaso West Wogombai election violence, where 18 persons suffered injury from individuals later identified as national security operatives, we will not let that matter die without justice being served to the victims. ASP Azugo, who was deeply involved in the violence and atrocities on the day, is currently cooperating with the National Investigations Bureau to identify, arrest, and prosecute all those who were involved in the violence. With respect to cases from the 2024 election violence that resulted in tragic deaths in constituencies like Tolong, Damango, Autusenya East, Nkranza South, Ofinsu North, and Ahafua North Southwest, the cases are being investigated by the special.
So that is the president giving us some updates about some of the cases or the incidences that he indeed mentioned during the election, before the election and after the election, how those cases have panned up and the status of those cases. And you heard clearly about Ahmed Suale, 1 person is, yes, also,
after 6 years.
After 6 years, and he's still in lawful custody, helping with further investigations in relation to that particular case and all of that. So that is one of the issues that yesterday the president spoke about, the SkyTrain, National Service and all of that. The AEG had already indicated that we should expect some charges coming up. And the indication is that probably soon we should see something in relation to the SkyTrain, either today or tomorrow at the court.
Because we were told last week that it will be this week.
Absolutely. So we should look into that space for all of this. And yesterday, some 4 persons will make their second appearance at the courts in relation to substance abuse, narcotic substance, drugs. They were alleged to have made the attempt to export narcotic substances, and then they were arrested. So yesterday they made their their third appearance at the circuit court, and when they made the appearance for the first time, they were lucky. They were lucky in the sense that the court found favor with their request for bail, and they were granted bail. But who are these for? Ahmed Suale is an artifact dealer, and then so he's the first accused person. Josiah Bini, Emmanuel Minta, and then Kobina Ampofu Anti. They are freight forwarders. All of them are on those charges, and as you can see yesterday when they appeared at the circuit court, this was after they were admitted to bail. Yesterday the court admitted them to bail, each of them 13 million Ghana cedis. So one of them 13, the other 13, and if you put all of them together, 52. Aside that, each of them is supposed to produce 4 sureties. And the sureties, one of them should be justified with a landed property estimated 1 million Ghana cedis. So if the landed property that was not valued at 1 million Ghana cedis, that will not be activated. Their biodata is also supposed to be submitted to the passport office, and all the borders activated. They are on red alert. They are not supposed to try. So they have been banned from traveling. And the sureties, the court is saying that each of them should be a public servant earning not less than 5,000 Ghana cedi net. So all these things will come to play in all of that. And so that was the condition that the court presided over by Ms. Awo Kwadam Aksitwe gave to them yesterday. So on June 18, the 4 are expected back in court. Their lawyers, in fact, 3 of them are being led by Andrew Kujovotia. In fact, their plea on the count or the charges have not been taken because prosecution made the point that they are still conducting further investigation in relation to that. So that is one of the issues that also took place in court.
I know also that Imani and then Professor Kwesi, their issue in court regarding the termination of the appointment of some service chiefs. That came also to the fore. Absolutely.
So for those who are monitoring the space, you note that this one started in the previous administration when Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo was the president. They initiated that action at the Supreme Court and want some provisions in the 1992 Constitution to be clear that as a president, you cannot just be changing, firing, hiring, all of that. So they want the Supreme Court to put finality, some interpretation on provisions in the 1992 Constitution. But unfortunately, yesterday, the case was called for judgment, and it was adjourned sine die, indefinitely. And one of the reasons you understand that case was adjourned indefinitely was the fact that the panel that was dealing or was handling this very case was then presided over by Justice Gertrude Sakitokonu, the Chief Justice who's been suspended now. So there's no way you get her to come and sit or be part of the panel or preside over a panel with the situation that we have at hand. So yesterday, the case was not even called at all. The parties were informed that that case has been adjourned indefinitely. But Kofi Bentel, who is counsel for the plaintiff, has been speaking, but he expressed disappointment. But let's listen to him.
There's huge anticipation for this judgment. I'm already getting calls. People are waiting to hear what they will say. We thought it should be ready by now. We suspect it's because of the suspension of the Chief Justice, who was the president of this panel. Indeed. It's just a suspicion. We've not been giving any reasons. In fact, it was the court clerk who informed us that the matter has been adjourned sine die. What it means is that adjourned indefinitely, which is quite a bit surprising and disappointing to me, because a judgment which is a few months in the making could have been ready and maybe could have been delivered. It is true that the Chief Justice was the president of the panel, but she was not the only member of the panel. And in my dreams, I was hoping that she would have given her judgment and that it would have been delivered today. But wishes are not horses. So we've been told that it's been adjourned sine die. It's unfortunate because of how important this ruling is. All of us who are waiting for it will have to wait a bit more. We are still very hopeful that given the arguments that we made, the ruling should come out to the effect that the president cannot remove any security chief without just cause.
That's Kofi Bento. Yesterday, moments after he and his team learned that the case had been adjourned, definitely give us some reaction in relation to that. So they'll have to wait for another date to come. But the Supreme Court, anytime they mention the fact that cases are adjourned any date, sometimes you might in your ears it will sound long time ago to come. But it could be the next time when they are fixing cases, you know. So this one that has
it just means that there's no definite date.
Absolutely. So a date could be fixed at any given time. So that's one thing that you should always keep in mind.
And what are you to look out for?
So today a lot is happening in court, but we'll be focusing on some training session coming out for judges, some magistrates, and in fact it is an international training program that we want to go through with you. So as you can see on your screens there, training on international judicial cooperation for selected justices of the High Court, Circuit Courts, and the magistrates. So this is a program, it's a 2-day program beginning today, and it will end tomorrow. But what is the objective or the background to this very exercise, why we are discussing it on this very matter? So the training program on international judicial cooperation is a collaborative initiative spearheaded by Scuola Superiore and Sant'Anna, Pisa, Italy, in partnership with the Ministry of Justice of Ghana and the Judicial Training Institute, and it's been financially supported by the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. And the program is designed for selected judges, High Court, like I mentioned earlier. But the initiative underscores the need to build judicial capacity in international cooperation mechanism. The training therefore seeks to enhance judicial competence in navigating the landscape of international judicial cooperation. And so at the end of this program, this 2-day program, this is the objective. The training focuses on 1, introduce the concept and importance of international judicial cooperation to our judges here in Ghana. Examine key UN conventions on transnational crime and cooperation or corruption. Explore regional cooperation models and build practical skills in mutual legal assistance and extradition. Analyze challenges and role of the International Criminal Court. So these are some of the things that this very program is focused on. And the president or the director of the Judicial Training Institute, Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Amadou Tanko, is the one that is expected to address the opening session. And of course, the international community, their representative, will also give us some perspectives on what this whole program is all about. So that's one of the things that. So today we'll be having a date with judges and magistrates.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Murtala, thank you so much.